So ever since that Pokemon Presents way back in February, there really hasn't been any more news on Pokemon stuff happening recently, and we know that there is of course going to be Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, which is going to be coming out towards the end of the year, but it is going to be happening pretty much very close to each other towards the end, where it's going to be like one in the fall and one in the winter, which is of course different than how they did like Pokemon Sword and Shield's DLC, where you actually had like one pack come out in the summertime around like close to kind of right now, where it would be like close to June. You had the Isle of Armor come out then, and then you had the Crown Tundra, which came out in like October around the fall. But it seems like they're doing the DLC for Scarlet and Violet very close to each other, so we're probably not going to be seeing it for a while, and maybe we'll get like another Pokemon Presents pretty soon in like the summer, which will give us like a new trailer and showcase some new information. But we pretty much don't have that much exciting stuff right now in terms of Pokemon. However, it does seem like that something pretty cool is going to be happening very soon, and it could just be a couple of days away, and that is of course that long-awaited Pokemon Home update that is going to allow you to transfer Pokemon into Scarlet and Violet. So this is something that we've heard about for a while, and they've talked about how you're going to finally be able to bring over Pokemon from like Pokemon Legends Arceus and then transfer into Scarlet and Violet, and bring over your Pokemon from like Sword and Shield and the Pokemon that are inside of Pokemon Home already. Pretty much all that stuff that people have been waiting for. And it's interesting because they told us that this update was going to be coming out in like the spring or early part of 2023, and it still hasn't been out yet, and we're now in May, and people are kind of getting a little bit worried about what's happening, and it seems like this is starting to happen quite frequently now when it comes to these Pokemon Home and transferring updates. Like I remember even with Pokemon BDSP, that was like a whole other thing where like there was going to be a Pokemon Home update for that, and even that took a long time to come out. So I don't know if it's just with the way that these Pokemon games are like made now, where they have to do kind of more effort to make sure that the Pokemon can be transferred over, and it takes more effort to like kind of develop everything with like Pokemon Home and stuff, because I heard like Pokemon Home was kind of hard for BDSP because the whole game was made in Unity or something, and Pokemon were coded differently or something along those lines. So I don't know exactly how it works, but it does seem like we are going to be getting information about Pokemon Home very soon in terms of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and we've got some interesting leaks here that actually talk about some other cool things that this might be able to do, which people might not even know about, so I do want to talk about it and give you guys my thoughts. Alright, so here we are on Twitter, where Central Leaks has basically compiled all the information together, and it says right here, Home Update Info. The update is ready, and the release is going to be very soon. For the first time ever, you will be able to transfer Pokemon caught in Scarlet and Violet to previous generation games. So this is actually the most exciting thing right here, because for the longest time ever, everything that you've done inside of Pokemon in terms of transferring has always been a one-way ticket into the most recent generation. Even like going back to like Pokemon Transporter, and even like back to like Pal Park and like Pokemon Gen 4, like whenever you brought a Pokemon from like Pal Park from like your GBA games into like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl or Platinum, they were always stuck in that generation and you could never send them backwards. Same thing with like Pokemon Transporter from like Gen 5 into Gen 6, they were stuck inside a Pokemon Bank and you couldn't send them back into Pokemon Black and White. But now it seems like you're actually going to be able to transfer Pokemon backwards, like even from using this with like Scarlet and Violet, you're going to be able to send Pokemon back now to something like Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is really, really cool. Now, there is a little bit of confusion from this that I've seen, where basically, of course, to do this, the Pokemon has to exist inside of Pokemon Sword and Shield also, so this doesn't mean that you're going to be able to transfer a Pokemon like Fuecoco from Scarlet and Violet into Sword and Shield, because of course Fuecoco doesn't exist in those games, but a Pokemon like Pikachu, which you can get in Scarlet and Violet and also can find in Pokemon Sword and Shield, you can transfer a Pokemon like that from Scarlet and Violet that you catch in that game into Pokemon Generation 8 with Sword and Shield. So that's really, really cool that you can do that. Now, of course, the moves are also going to be reset here, like they said here, because of course, if you teach your Pokemon like a brand new Gen 9 move that it can only learn in Scarlet and Violet, that move doesn't exist inside of Sword and Shield, so instead all your moves are just going to be reset so that you can add new moves for those Pokemon when you transfer them backwards. So that's pretty cool how that works, but it is really interesting that you're going to be able to do that for the first time. Then it also says here, there's going to be a mystery gift for linking Scarlet and Violet. So it says here you're going to be getting a Fuecoco, Sprigatito, and Quaxly most likely. I'm assuming these Pokemon are probably going to have their hidden abilities, so that way they can be rare Pokemon and you can breed them and stuff too. So that makes a lot of sense to me, and it's a pretty nice reward for linking the Pokemon games together. And then it says here, Iron Leaves and Waking Wake won't have Pokedex entries all they will say is that they are still under investigation. So that's interesting. So I'm assuming this is talking about the Virizion and Suicune, but it seems like they're not going to have actual Pokedex entries yet. Now, I think the answer for this is there are probably going to be updates that you're going to get when the DLC comes out later. Like when you get like the secret, the hidden treasure of Area Zero, like once that comes out, there's probably going to be like an updated Pokedex, which is going to have information for those Pokemon. But yeah, I guess we're going to see here, it just says here, with Pokedex entries, we meant here the flavor text. So yeah, like the little blurb that it gives you about the Pokemon, I guess we're not going to have that for those Pokemon yet, but I'm assuming once the actual DLC comes out, but like the actual new Pokemon and stuff, that's when we'll probably get the update for that. And then they just said here, and yes, thanks for reminding us that this also happened way back in Gen 2. And also for the transfer to previous gens, obviously we meant as long as the Pokemon exists in the destination game, Let's Go is excluded. So yeah, since Let's Go only has Gen 1 Pokemon, I guess it doesn't really make that much sense to transfer backwards. But yeah, I guess you were able to do this in Gen 2 also. So I guess Gen 2 you could transfer back into like Red and Blue, I'm assuming. I didn't know you could do that, but then again, I mean, I didn't play Gen 2 and Gen 1 back when those games came out because I was like 1 year old. So yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense with how that works. So it is pretty cool that you're going to be able to transfer Pokemon backwards. And then it says here, a new leak. It says here, Leaker K has talked about the Move Tailor, which seems to be a feature of the DLC that will allow somehow for you to be able to customize Pokemon moves. For example, teach again old event moves through Pokemon Customize won't be eligible for ranked battles. So yeah, it is interesting. It seems like this is going to be able to teach you moves now that some Pokemon may have not been able to learn because they were old events and stuff. So this is going to be a feature now in the DLC, which is really cool because this means that you're going to have Pokemon that are going to have access to learning different moves, and that's of course going to update their move sets. So that should be pretty interesting to see how that's all going to work for older Pokemon and maybe even Pokemon that are going to be now a part of the DLC in terms of the new Pokemon that you're going to find there. And then there's also this leaked image which came out. I don't know for sure if this is real or not, but it seems to be the Pokemon Home update where you can see here transferring into Pokemon Scarlet and then also Pokemon Home and stuff. And the date that they gave here, apparently the person who leaked this was saying that the update was going to be coming out on May 19th, which would be like basically 5 days from the time that I upload this video. Not sure if that's going to be true or not, but it is something that I figured would be worth mentioning. But either way, I do think that this update is just around the corner and we could be seeing information for it this week, or at the very least, we're going to be seeing information for it very soon. And so yeah, that is pretty much all the information that we have right now about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It seems that Pokemon Home update could just be around the corner and we should be getting it very soon, as well as there's going to be the opportunity to transfer Pokemon backwards now into Sword and Shield, and there's even going to be like this new Move Tailor type of thing in the DLC where you can teach your Pokemon different moves. So it all seems pretty cool, but yeah, I mean, it does seem kind of sad right now that we're not really going to be getting much Pokemon news. Maybe there will be a Pokemon Presents which will happen in like June or July, which can finally give us like a new trailer about the DLC, but we just don't really have a ton of stuff happening right now with Pokemon, so it is kind of just slow. But if we ever do get information like this coming out, you guys know I will of course make a video and let you guys know about it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel, as well as I am going to be having more Pokemon news very soon. But yeah, comment down below and let me know how you guys feel about this. How are you guys feeling about the Pokemon Home update? Are you excited for it? What do you guys think about the DLC and everything? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros. And Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.